Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nation. I'd like to remind everybody, in the spirit of solidarity and spirit of acknowledging the land, I'd like to remind the reason why we're doing this is to also remember the injustice and the discrimination and marginalization of the First Peoples of this land. And we, as part of our work with Kathara, we move forward to acknowledge as a result of the colonization, our work is, to a large part, is to decolonize, and hoping that through decolonization, we are able to become stronger and we become more empowered so that we can benefit from the medicines of this land. I am about to do a session, a webinar session starting tomorrow of some masters in the Philippines who will be teaching Kutyapi. Maraming salamat, Babette, for lending me your Kutyapi. If you notice, I added a few more notes here. I added a few more bridges here. So from eight notes, we have 10 notes now. So I'll just play a minute or so just to ground and to feel the music and the art and the culture of our ancestors through this instrument, a 2-string instrument called Kutyapi. Maraming salamat, Ninuno. Maraming salamat, Manama. Thank you. I turn it over to you, Babette, Sobi. Maraming salamat.
All right, for our opening too, we're going to add, thank you so much. Oops, I just pressed the button here. Sorry, I'm still here with you all. There we go. I've brought in our Micah here for helping with the opening with the agong. Our agong is a bagobo instrument, and our Micah here, our buwaya, is very good at playing it. So we're gonna get him to open with that too. As a start, I'm calling in Ant. Ant, are you okay, buddy?
Yeah.
Kind of cramped in his room here.
Yeah.
Here we go. I can hold it for you, and you can. Salamat. Thank you so much, Micah. You're so good at reminding us and teaching us. Micah is one of my favorite teachers. Yesterday in our Zoom, I'm trying to remember where it was, but he said, while at the Lenny Strobel at a conference called Tending to the Roots, Micah said, meditate with your ancestors. I just thought that was the most precious knowledge and wisdom for him to say goodbye to everyone as a final note, that we meditate with our ancestors. So grateful for this time that we have together. I know we'll have some people joining, and today is a very, very special day. I'm really appreciative for Tita Lourdes and connecting us to our motherland. It actually brings me tears because I'm really, really homesick. And I know that our celebrating Lapu Lapu is important, that this is our way of connecting to our motherland. And so it means so much that you were able to make this time with us, Tita. I know it's trouble sometimes to make the time change, so I really appreciate it. And as well, that we have Norm with us, who's one of my mentors, my brother, one of my favorite people here in unceded Coast Salish territories. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity that we come together to get to know one another and continue to build our relations on a very special day, where we recognize our warrior Lapu Lapu, where 500 years ago, he stood up to our colonizers. He had to go against his brother who joined Magellan. He went against, his island brother and decided, no, you know what, I can't do this. So he fought, against Magellan and also some brothers, I imagine, some relative, this is what happens. Colonialism brings us to fight our own. And so today we have medicine, we're talking about medicine, and we're talking about our journey of how do we, today and in the past, how some of these things have continued to this day, and how we hold it in ourselves and how we can also work with it. And one of the greatest lessons I've learned too with Norm and the group that I'm learning from, and the Indigenous tools for living, is that our trauma carries so much wisdom. And I think for me, that is the most loving way to look at trauma, actually. And that's an important feeling, to know that our ancestors, carried trauma, but they carried also the wisdom, incredible wisdom, which is why we're still alive here. And we still have these keys and these sources within us. And so I'm grateful for that, that wisdom, Norm, that you've taught me in the circle. So I would love to share, because Norm, this is new for Norm to join us for Lapu Lapu, that we begin with our very first ceremony that we did here on unceded Coast Salish territories in Kwai Kwai, or Stanley Park, and with really the vision under Sobi to make this a day. So we can show the video, and then maybe later, Sobi, you can share words about this.
You might have to start it again.
Yes, please.
There's a checkbox before you share, where you checkbox share sound. So if you stop share and then share again. So you need to stop share, Sobi.
I think that's Sobi. Sobi, can you hear us, Sobi? There we go.
Oh, you need to stop share. Up top. Yeah, where there should be a stop share button up top. Maybe it should be a red button up above the video called stop share.
Sobi, are you getting these messages? I'm not sure.
Okay, so now when you share screen, after you choose your screen, at the bottom of that shared screen, there's a little checkbox where it says share sound.
Sorry about that. I had checked it before, and it seems like you have to check it every single time. So
yeah, it always unchecked.
yeah. Okay. Let's go again.
I promise, I pray, I promise, and I pray.
I promise to raise my family and teach my community with respect and a practice which thinks of others.
Kami nagpapasalamat sa okasyong ito ng pagkakaisa para gunitayin ang aming mga ninuno at ang kasaysayan ni Lapu Lapu.
The animals, the water, the air, earth, and unceded Coast Salish territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
I promise, I pray, I promise, and I pray.
Sana madama namin ang kahalagahan ng nakaraan panahon at ituro sa mga anak namin ang pagrespeto sa kapwa at pagpahalaga sa kalikasan sa lahat ng sanlibutan. Sa araw na ito, madama namin ang lakas ni Lapu Lapu.
I pray for your ancestors and mine to give us the guidance to ensure a healthier future for our children.
I promise, I pray, I promise, and I pray.
Maraming salamat for sharing and showing this. This was filmed 7 years ago or 6 years ago now. What's my math all right there, I think.
2015.
So yes, by JR there. And Sylvie, would you like to share more about your ideas about our Lapu Lapu Day when you first came to thinking that this was really important for us?
Mayong hapon and mayong Adlaw for us that are here on the unceded territory, Coast Salish territory. This Adlaw ni Lapu Lapu Day, which we're marking today, came about in part when the Philippines began to venture towards this national commemoration of Lapu Lapu Day. And it is something that has been an inspiration as a national kind of symbol of our first hero. And for Cebuanos, it has even more significance because the start of colonization, Christianity, began about 50 years before anywhere else in the Philippines. So it was from there that it spread. And it's a significant part of history for us to learn more about, much more than I could or we can get into right now. This moment that is actually being commemorated nationally and globally with Filipinos in the diaspora, since this is the 500-year anniversary of, depending on who's telling the story, if it's Spain, you know, they'll talk about the 500 years since Magellan circumnavigated the world and discovered what is now the Philippines, named after the King of Spain. Or it would be also the 500 years of Christianity, according to the church. But for many proud Cebuanos, it's also 500 years since we had our first victory against colonization, and actually deterred the spread of colonization for a number of years before it was undone again by Legazpi. So as was mentioned by Babette, you know, there's a story about, you know, how this chieftain rose up against, in despite of the other parts of the kingdom standing with the and wanting to work together with the Spanish, there was one who chose not to, and we take that inspiration in our art society as Filipinos who are learning to stand against the tide when it comes to learning about who we are. It's not easy for us to do that, and so we invoke the courage of not just Lapu Lapu, but that village of 500 people who are of all ages, you know, who work together to use their intelligence, their indigenous intelligence and tactics to best a superior military force. So that's something that we need today in where we are today here on this unceded English territory. And we hope that especially our younger generations will take to learning more about this history, and it continues to expand the knowledge of this period. And there's many new sources that keep on emerging. So this is an ongoing study, and we here on the Coast Salish territories have, I think, really come closest to part of its spirit through our investigation of Filipino martial arts. So I think that is why we kind of bring that into the spotlight when we do this event. And that's all I'll say for now. Takan salam.
Thank you, Sobi. It's always wonderful to hear our Kapwa Kids, our brothers and sisters, talk about our very, very personal journey and family story about decolonizing. It always touches my heart just to connect on these levels. And we haven't seen each other since maybe training, so that's nice to kind of to know that that's connected as we continue to kind of sustain our heritage and continue to decolonize in many unique ways. And that's it. It's today we talk about many things of our journey in decolonizing, and I'm really, really excited that this next portion that I'm going to introduce to you, Norm Leech. I don't want to make a mistake into saying what origin and where your ancestry is from, because I don't want to you know, be dishonorable in any way. But Norma is somebody I've met through our, our relationship building with the butterflies in spirit. I can remember the office that I first met you in. We were building here on Fraser the first time I met you, and Lillian Howard was with you there, and Lorelei. Yeah, I can remember that day. And today, we continue to build the relations, and that was probably like 4 or 5 years now. And seeing you throughout the community, and grateful for the circles that you continue to keep open for me and my learning and in our community. It means so much. So today is another special moment for us to share this time, and I'm excited. I've never experienced the meditation with you, which is what we're about to receive. So thank you, Norm, for being here.
Norman Leech and Squatchy hello everyone. Amati, Anna. It's good to see you all. My name is Norm Leech. I'm from Leech, which is a community in the T'at'imc Nation. And this picture behind me, that's the view from our reserve. We live beside the town. Actually, our reserve surrounds the town of Lillooet. I don't know if you've ever been to Lillooet, but that's the view that we have every day, and my ancestors have been there for thousands of years. So I'll acknowledge the land first, because the land was here first. The land was here millions of years before humans. She's our oldest ancestor. She's our great greatest grandmother. She's the grandmother we share with the dinosaurs even. And she's been there since the beginning, and she's given us everything since before the beginning. Everything, every cell, every molecule, every atom of our bodies for thousands of years has come from our land. And she's given it without condition, without limit, without interruption, always. And if you think of someone giving everything all the time without condition or limit, that's the definition of love. And so we know in that way that the land loves us. And that's the relationship we have with our land. She is not property. She's our ancestor. So I acknowledge her first. And then I acknowledge the people who've taken care of the land. And here in so-called Vancouver, it has been the Musqueam and the Squamish and the Tsleil-Waututh people. And they've taken care of the land for about since the last ice age, about 15,000 years. And they took such good care of this land that I used to say that it was as good as new when the explorers arrived. But I had to stop because my elders corrected me. They said it wasn't as good as new when the explorers arrived. It was better than new, because every generation improved the salmon runs, the forests, the medicines, the rivers. They improved it. Every generation they did. That's why it was so fantastic and unbelievable when the explorers came. They couldn't believe the size of the buffalo herds, or the salmon runs, or the forests, because the people had taken such good care of it, because they lived in balance. So I acknowledge that and the people, and then I'll do a little guided meditation to set us, to connect us and ground us in a good way for this ceremony today. So get comfortable if you can, and I'll guide you in a little meditation so that we can all start from the same place today. I want you to think of a tree that you know, okay? Visualize that tree that you know. And as you do, notice how your feet are on the floor, how your body is there. Breathe some good air into your body. Any tired or sore areas, breathe it into there. Find your tree. Notice where this tree is, the time of day is, and the season there. I want you to sense into that tree. Noticing what's around. Sense into the roots of that tree. Sense how deep they go, how wide. What do they find down there? What do they touch? Sense if you can, if that tree is holding the ground, if the ground is holding the tree. Let's come up into the trunk of your tree, in the branches. As you come up into the land, notice what's around. If there's creatures, maybe water, maybe more trees. Now, since you know this tree must know you. How long has this tree known you? How long has this tree been here? Known this place? Imagine the things that this tree has seen and heard and knows. The relationship that this tree has with the surrounding trees and this land. This tree has never moved. This tree knows you. Maybe this tree knows others of your family as well. Maybe some ancestors. Sense into that relationship. This tree has many long relationships with this place and everything there, including you. This tree is waiting for you there all the time. It's happy when you come. Give thanks for this tree and this place, and the water that's there. Give thanks for the medicine of this tree. This tree is medicine for you. That's why you chose it. Now be prepared to come back to the room and leave everything there as it is and needs to be. Accept the medicine that this tree sent you and brings you all the time. Notice your hands and your feet, and your body in the chair, and your face. Open your eyes and come back to the room, the Zoom room. Notice your breath. And hope that grounded you, connected you, and let you understand that that tree will always be there waiting. You can always go there, find some calmness and connection and medicine. We'll try another one later. I hope that was good for you and calms you and connected you to others in the circle. Thank you.
Salamat, Norm. Thank you.
Salamat, Norm.
So with this beautiful meditation, I feel like another thing that we can, just because our next segment is to do some drawing, and it would be wonderful if we could all draw our tree. If you can find some art materials or a piece of paper, your book, and we're going to draw our tree and visualize that tree as a source of strength that we can always come back to. Like Norm said, it's something that's a tree, the medicine that we can come to. And so let's draw that tree, and we'll have some time to maybe 5 minutes just to get your materials. If you want a little bit more time, let us know. And then we'll share our images.
Don't forget the roots. Just because you can't see them, you know they're there.
Okay. How is everybody? If everyone is still having some marks, maybe we just sit and look at your image and see if there's anything coming through. There's more messages that that might come out from your drawing of your tree if you, as you look and sit with it, if there's any words that come to you. It might be a few words, it might be a phrase, be just more images that you might want to write down. And we'll share in a few moments if that's okay with everybody.
Like Sobi's warrior there fighting, looks like coronavirus there.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone really loves their trees, I can tell. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Babette. Hi, everyone. Hi, Norma, Michelle. Hi, Emerald. Hi, Mom. Hi, Kuya. Toby. And JR. And Jeff, who I don't know.
So, thank you so much for, I'm really excited about what we're about to share. What we're going to do is we're going to share our image, our tree. And if there were any words that you wanted to share that came up near the end while we're waiting, any phrases or words, okay? I'll start here. Here's my image of this tree. Is a new tree that I met at 6:30 in the morning. I walked by, actually I met with playing with Micah, but knew I had to come back to you, so I did. And I just did everything I danced, I trained softly with this tree. I sat and meditated, and this looks down onto the mountains and onto Vancouver facing north. So it's at Kensington Park there, the Kensington Community Center. I love this tree. And the words that came to me from this is, be with me. I have so much to give you. I hold and embrace you. Lean on me. I am here. That's my tree. Would anyone else like to go next? We don't have to go in any particular order, whoever's ready to.
Ahoy means tree. Right, Mom? I was wondering if there's an etymology to that, if there's like other words within that word that translate. But I had to look it up. I didn't actually remember how to say tree in Cebuano, so it's a good word to know. And this tree is outside my house in the back, and I can see it through my window. It's often a place where different birds will land, and I'll get to watch birds from my window and hear them. And it was nice to think about their roots underneath the ground, and to think about how long it took to grow to the height that it is, and to think of how long it'll be there in the times to come. And thankful for the kahoy. Mom, I see your lips moving and you're talking, but I can't hear you.
I have lots of kahoy in our backyard. We have lots of fruit. We have jackfruit. We have kaimito. We have lemoncito, which is calamansi, or lemon. And we have bananas and papayas, and they're very fruitful, and we enjoy it. Now the avocado is about to give us fruit. So I feel very blessed that I'm able to see this in my own backyard, and I talk to them every day. And I just give a scolding to my avocado tree yesterday, because he said, I haven't seen your fruit for a few years, so you have to give me a fruit. And so I give him a lot of water and give him and now we're growing cacao, which is like a chocolate, cocoa. So I won't see the fruit, but this is for Michelle and Sobi. When they come to live here, they can see the fruit of it and make chocolates out of it. So very blessed and thankful to Mother Earth for providing us with all these blessings. Thank you.
Show my phone.
Chaparral forever.
You're not a possessor anymore.
This is a tree.
Who would like to go next to share their tree? Thank you, Tita. Salamat po.
I'll share my tree. I don't know if why is it not clear? Oh, there you go. So
I'll show you a tree.
Okay, so may just
You have to turn off your background.
yeah, I'm going to turn it off.
We get to see the background.
Okay, there you go. Can you see it now? So my tree, I have this tree close to my house, and it's my go-to tree. I believe it's a cedar, and it was one of the largest on Fifth Avenue, close to my place, and I always gravitate towards the big ones, and it's about a block and a half away from me, and I go to it each time that I feel I need some extra energy. But as I was drawing this tree and listening to the backing music that Babette or Sobi was playing, it suddenly transported me to back home in the Philippines. And so this tree had become more like a fusion, kind of a mythical tree. And there's a lot of squigglies that went into this tree. And suddenly I remember this tree. I'm a tree climber. I love climbing trees. And there's this big tree that was located at our backyard farm, and it's called himbabao tree, and it's a vegetable tree. So it gives these strands of vegetable that we would harvest and cook with it. And the dish that comes with it is called, it's an Ilocano dish. An Ilocano, Ilocos is in the northern part of the country. My dad being Ilocano, I suddenly remember my father when I was drawing this tree. And particularly this dish with the imbabao is an anchovy, soupy anchovy dish. And it's really, really, and it's an acquired taste before you can appreciate. It's my dad's food, and I always followed my dad, and anything that he eats, I eat, including the himbabao tree and the himbabao. And so today being our event of Lapu Lapu, I remember my dad's courage, and he was a soldier during the time, and he was a war hero, and he during World War II he had covered a huge tract of region which he protected from the mountains. And when he finished, when peacetime came in 45, I guess 1944 or 45, that's when he met my mom, and that's how they got together. After the war, so I'm a post-war, of course, post-war child. Out of 8 siblings, I was already born in the capital in Manila in the Philippines, and so my tree from here on Coast Salish to the Philippines and our region, from my father to each one of you, I share.
I can go next. I feel like my dad's dad is from Luwag City, Ilocos Norte, and he also is like that with about his father's foods. He likes anything that he liked, and I feel like there's so many acquired tastes from that region. Like, what's that one with the bitter melon?
Ampalaya.
Yeah, the
pinakbet.
Pinakbet. Yeah, it like smells good and tastes good, like, or you want it to taste good, and then you're like, oh, bitter. You like really got to get used to it. But I found ways that, like, when you put a little bit with a little bit of meat or like a little bit of salt, a little bit, you got to get the balance of the flavors, and then it's delicious. And then I love it too now. Mine was also a cedar tree. It's one that's in the park in Stanley. And I was thinking about how it's like somewhere deep. I can't remember which trail it's on, but it's pretty deep inside the park. And I used to be what do you call it? We basically gave like eco-cultural tours in the park, of like walking tours of like the plants and animals and cultural history and where's the bathroom and things like that. And and my friend and I would always like try and find this. Well, we didn't try to. At this point, we already knew our way around the park. We couldn't get lost, but there was this tree that was sort of within off of a path, and then in front. But this is the one we knew how to get to. The off path was from this tree, and like just maybe a little bit behind it, there was like this, like somebody made a living room out of like other like logs, like they made one into like a couch kind of thing. And so we would go hang out in like the perfect patch of sunlight in this one spot. But we always knew where it was by finding this tree that had like 4 different trees growing out of it. And I also think about how the park is like it has a low soil layer. And so the roots, they go short or they go long and deep, and how they're still communicating with each other in these long, deep, shallow humus layers. and and the network of like truffles and mushrooms that are just connecting everyone together. I think about them a lot, and I haven't been out there in a while, and I've been hearing about it coming back to like a place of like you know, of what's the word, like the coyotes are back and they're feeling really like they're feeling really confident out there. And I know people are feeling like uncomfortable about that and getting a little bit like they're taking over our park. I'm like, you took over their park. But but yeah, so I just, when you said picture a tree, that was the first one I thought of, was this one that I always know how to find other things in the park with. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
I'm going to go next. I'm going to be a bit more brief. I have a cat on me, so I couldn't get my writing tools because I didn't know we had to have writing tools, but I can show you on my phone the tree that I made. And I don't even know what kind of tree it is, other than that I mostly just enjoyed the movement and the essence of a tree, and just bringing that energy of what trees give me, and what I give back in appreciation, and just thinking of the colors, and like just really appreciating Normie bringing the energies of the medicine of the trees here, and how it's just like one of the most medicinal ease, when I think of ease and simplicity and grounding, and that we're in such a privileged lands where they're so accessible. Just have to look out my window, and there's so much abundance with that, like how they're mentioning the different trees and the different lands in the Philippines, the ones here. It's just such a way of connecting people as well. Yeah, grateful to be here. I'm gonna turn off my camera and like lie down after this, and so nice to see all your faces.
Thanks, Michelle. So is Norm, did you do that too by any chance?
I'll have to turn off my background. So I started drawing a tree, and then it kept getting bigger and taller and deeper and wider. And then I realized the tree just connects everything. It connects from deep in the ground to high in the sky, wide. It connects, as Emerald said, with all the neighboring trees. Their roots just intertwine, and it's almost like the forest becomes one giant thing. And this tree was giant, and it was ancient, and it was 1,000 years old at least, and it knew before, and it connected and touched, and through all those connections, it was connected to everything. So trees are awesome. So I like to start with a tree. Experiential, and to root people and ground them and let them know that they're connected. Trees are connected to the other trees, to everything that lives in them, insects, birds, and they're connected to us. And some of you did get visits from ancestors through this tree, because this tree knows them too. And that's a gift. These trees give us so many gifts. because they've been around for so long and they've seen so much and they connect us to so much. And they will in the future too. So yeah, they're good, strong medicine. So glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Norm. Salamat. I know there's another person here, Jeff. I'm not sure if you have anything, but I just want to acknowledge you're here with us. And if you have anything you'd like to share, feel free to share now.
Thank you for acknowledging me. I'm very sorry. I'm kind of have this on the background, but I appreciate all the dialogue and sharing that is going on. I was just pondering about trees that I've come into contact with in my life, and all I could think of was a tree that I used to love climbing in this apartment complex I lived in, and I just wanted to like climb to the top of it. So I was just pondering those memories and how firm and supportive that tree was to be able to hold my weight, and I hope it's still there. I haven't seen that tree in a while. Yeah, that's all I have to share. I'm sorry I don't have a picture.
That's okay. It's nice to hear your voice and that we can hear you at least. Yeah, I'm just acknowledging Sobi's message there in the chat too. The sadness, the quick loss of the juggles covered the Philippines. And I have the same kind of sad, kind of story about trees where one of my uncles who had passed had was, he was alcoholic. He'd passed, but he really struggled, and he ended up starting to clear all our trees to keep drinking in our farmlands. And it was, really heartbreaking. And when I hear my mom getting angry about him doing this, right? So yeah, trees have so much medicine for us. And I was really happy to hear with one of our Kalis Ilustrisimo teachers, our elder there, Peachie Baron, started a tree planting in the Philippines. That's one of her other ways of being a warrior with the land, is leading a movement in tree planting. And yeah, if anything, I hope we can do that someday together, everyone. Kapwa Kids, some tree planting. This takes us to a portion in our segment today. I think we could share a little bit from the interview, Sobi. I don't know if you have anything queued in place that I've mentioned before. I made some markers in the queue. Did you happen to have that ready, Sobi, or should we do something else?
Yeah, we'll go to that right now.
So this is just the opening. We'll just share.
Welcome everyone. I am so excited. My name is Babette Santos. I am here on unceded Coast Salish territories, the ancestral home and lands of Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam peoples that we're so blessed to live and play and train here. Very grateful for this moment I have to share with my Kapwa Kids in Kathara Society, where we get to celebrate Lapu Lapu, the 500-year mark of recognizing a warrior who defeated our colonizers, Magellan. And so this year we're faced with the pandemic, and I thought it would be really great to reconnect with our roots and also acknowledge some great practitioners that have been recognized more for the blade. And that's got me really excited, because for me,
colonialism, Magellan was beat by the blade, right? It wasn't sticks, it was the blade. So I'm excited about talking about the past, the present, and the future with special Cali's Ilustrisimo practitioners here with me today. I have Peachie, Baron Saguin with me here. Hello, Peachie. And I also have Tom Dytang. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. And Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Yes, it's so exciting. I've had, the opportunity to train with Tom and Kenneth here. Very lucky to have them here in unceded Coast Salish territories. And Peachie has made her way over here, and that's kind of why I thought this would be a wonderful way to reconnect. Shall we get started? This is really about storytelling and hearing what is our journey with martial arts, how much everything that we're so passionate about, and how we're also getting through this pandemic. So I'm really excited about this conversation, and we're going to start with watching something. We're going to start with watching. We're going to watch Tony Diego and Dytang. If we can show the oldest clip that we have.
Did you want to show this part of that? Should I keep going?
You're on mute, Babette.
Just to... Do you want me to do the interview part?
Yeah, actually, just to show who the founder of this whole system is. This is the clip of him training. His name is Antonio Ilustrisimo. So I think it's important to recognize the father, you can say, of the system. Can you show it just a little? It's a short clip. As you see, there's no sound, so it's a really short clip. Yeah, so from seeing the Antonio in this old vintage clip, you can see his speed, he's really, really fast. And this is when he was much younger. So, and the story with Antonio Dytang is, I can't remember the year he was born, but he did learn from his father. And he also came to an age of where he wanted to leave Bantayan Island and head to the States at one point. And so he got onto a boat that he thought it was going to the States and ended up in Mindanao. Nobody had talked about that a little bit in his story, but he's also, he also fought in the war as well. And he's we're here. This interview, I don't know how much we want to share because I'm also full of the time, but we can maybe go down to the next segment. Where that's shown is they were training so much in Luneta Park. So most people who are beginning in the Filipino martial arts, if they're ever interested in Manila and Luneta Park, they're all different groups of Filipino martial artists and the different systems, and you can kind of like have a sample of learning and seeing what they're doing. They train regularly, pre-pandemic, of course. And so if you want to meet them, then in the interview, Peachie talks about that, how you can visit and see if you wanted to learn from them. So this is the second part to the interview. Thanks.
Even it should be pointed towards your opponent. So it was, he changed the term to Puntay Daga from Espaday Daga, which was a common term. And I think it's most of the time, during that time, it's only Ilustrisimo who uses that sword and dagger has technique more often than any other Filipino martial art.
That's amazing. I love, so it's Punta y Daga, is that right?
No, he changed it to Punta y Daga. The main point is, even when you hit your opponent with your knife, with your long arm, the stick, that knife you're holding should be pointed towards your opponent still when it's not in action. So whenever it comes, when it's turned to come in, it's straight to the point to your opponent. That's why it's been termed Punta y Daga. It's always pointed towards your opponent.
Yeah, well, I guess this is what I learned, is that if you don't have that form and that technique right, you're a sitting duck, right?
Not everything has counters, so you'll never be a sitting duck.
So I would love to see, does everybody have some blades with them? I was kind of interested to see who has blades they wanted to share tonight. If you wanted to share any of your own blades at home that you have. Did anyone bring any to show and tell?
It's the training tool. If it's the training tool I have also a real sword, which Master Tony gave me and Tom. I think we were given a sword by Master Tony at the same time, right, Tom? One moment I'll get my training tools.
The sword, I think Peachie was talking about, that Tony gave me. I already lost in the fire in the Philippines. I was not able to bring it here because I was so worried about the customs over here. So I didn't bring it over. My blades over here are all from Kenneth.
Oh, Kenneth, you make blades or you import blades?
Well, actually, the blades come from the Philippines as well. So I ordered a few of them. I think Peachie has her training blade right now. That's the standard Punta y Daga trainer that most of the Kalis Ilustrisimo practitioners have. Actually, it's already dulled. for now. Master Boyd made it for us.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So the sword is 28 inches long, 28, and the dagger is 8. That's the standard. Some have 33, but mine is 28 and 8. The dagger is 8. Here.
Oh, wow. So they're blunt. They're not like they're training blades. Do you ever train like with the actual swords and stuff? I'm wondering like the live blade, but these are training blades, so they're blunt.
These are bland, but it's only Master Tony who trains us with live. I experienced it, and Tom also did a demo with live blades with Master Tony.
Wow. Like how do you work up to that? You start with your sticks and then you go to the training blade and then you go into like, you have to obviously be very confident to get to that level.
We were trained with blades, blunt blades, and then later on, Master Tony will train you with live if he is confident that you know how to handle it. Just like what he did during the demo with Tom. Tom and Master Tony was doing live blades then. That was where, Tom, where was that when you did the live blade with Master Tony?
Oh, I had to remember, but in the gym, we usually, once in a while, we use live blades when we train, especially if there are new students or foreigners that come in. He will ask me to use live blades. But it's just about being confident on your range when you don't hit your partner. You just have to be very sure in your range. That's why you need a lot of practice before and control to be able to do that training. It will take some time, but it's not that long to learn that.
So I guess thank you for sharing some of those clips, Sobi. So we'll be making this interview available online if you want to see the whole thing. So this system, Ilustrisimo, is a little, insight to what did the martial art look like a long time ago. Like for me to see that we're still training with blade is really important. In fact, I didn't get to have the opportunity to talk to them about this, but the transition from blade to stick became more apparent as part of colonizing, and for me, that's why it was really important to talk to them and know that the origins of this particular system with Dytang, Antonio Ilustrisimo of Bantayan, which is the northernest part of Cebu here, as I'm seeing on the map, is an understanding that we have had such a rich heritage in sword art form, and I'm grateful that we're still sustaining it today, and I hope that we can all try it, because I think the more that we continue to decolonize, that we try the things that our ancestors do, that we unlock more of our own wisdoms and strengths, to continue to be resilient. So I knew that when I started hearing the swords clang, it actually got me really excited. And that's how I know. I was like, okay, I'm drawn to it. I want to learn. So, and we have, Tom Dytang here. We're very lucky that we have Tom Dytang here, who is, the head teacher in this particular system. And we're just, grateful that his migration coming here to settle here is a blessing, from the ancestors, And so we'll make that interview available. I have an exercise here. You know how we did the drawing with the tree, and after seeing this, I thought, well, what would be, I'm curious to know, like, why is it, what are we doing now? We are all warriors here in some way. We are protecting something. So I thought, okay, we're going to draw our sword. What is this dream sword that you think you have? What is your blade? They have their own blades, that really is their strength, and we have many, many blades in the Philippines. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those shields, those old like shields that shows like maybe 25 to 30 blade styles that we have in the Philippines. But maybe you have a blade. So we're all going to draw a blade, whatever that may be. And then we're going to draw words of, what is it that we're protecting? What's important to us? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little time to do that. And then we'll share. And I think we're going to have our meditation and wrap it up. So we're almost near the end here, just to keep you in mind what our schedule is looking at, to keep that in mind and your time. Okay, so we're going to have a little music, maybe, Sobi, while we draw our dream blade and our words. What are we protecting? What is it that we value so much in our life right now? All right. Where are we up? Is that enough time? Okay. I hope. Okay. So I'm going to start. I'm going to show you my drawing and just pick out some of the words. Can you see? It's a crease. Yes. I don't have one. This is my dream blade. And it's one that came to me in dreams, actually. And it was actually, when I got it in my dream, it was just like glowing, and it was copper like. Anyway, so protecting my family. I mentioned all my members of my family: Lola, Micah, Rod, Jade. I have Kathara. I have women, children, youth, elders. I have air, water, trees, fish, food. My instruments even came up. I'm like, oh, okay. So, my culture, my connection to my culture. That's what I have in that short period. I'm sure there's a lot more that I can put here and right here. Thank you. I'm gonna pass it to anybody who'd like to show their sword, their blade, image.
I'll show mine.
Is it a dagger or a sword? It could be a dagger.
It's a dagger sword. It's a dagger sword. I was trying to draw a dagger, but then I remember this other. It's not a sword, but it's like a machete, and we call it tabak. And tabak is also. I remember going to the farm, and tabak or itak is also a farm tool. So every farmer carries one of these also on their side to use as, they use it as a farm tool to dig, to cut trees and to cut shrubs and grass or whatnot. So it's carrying a tabak, carrying an itak is a it's like their what do you call it, weapon everywhere they go, farm or anywhere. So that's what resonates to me, because I remember having my own tabak, my own itak. I guess I can't carry that over to the airplane. I actually tried one time and I was able to get away with it, and I put in like a little balisong or a fan knife, so that actually went through customs deep in my luggage.
Good
That's
one.
it.
Good
Thank
one.
you.
Good one. Thanks, JR.
Here, I can go next. I made up a shape. I guess it's like a dagger. Looks like that. And I put community, culture, creation, imagination, promotion, preservation, authenticity, reciprocity as things that need to be protected and preserved and promoted. And yeah, that's how I put
Salamat.
Especially that creation energy, it needs to be protected. No matter how we express it, we all got that. How does Jen say it? It's breathing into the womb of all the womb space of all genders. I love how she says that, because it gives like the men an opportunity to be like, yeah, I have creation energy too. Let me like channel that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Oh. Can't hear you.
So I drew the Kampilan, the sword known to be the one that may have decapitated Magellan. Better featured by our resident artist, Bert Montanaro, who did this piece a few years ago when we first did this event. The Kampilan brandished proudly in front of them. On the Facebook event, you'll see a breakdown of some of the different parts in two major dialects, Maranao and Maguindanao. So the guard, the sampu or the ampu, the blade, the tongo, the sharp edge, the tip, bakukum. The hilt is sundi or su'ang. So it was something that the Spaniards were actually pretty impressed by, was the blades that they saw in the metal work and the craftsmanship, and of course the gold, which they melted down and made religious artifacts. So they were very alerted to the precious metals by the warriors there, and also had to wear their armor against this. These are very heavy weapons.
Salamat. Thank you, Sobi. Norm, did you happen to also do this exercise?
Yeah, I thought more about the things that we would be protecting. For me, a decolonizing concept ends up being about going back to our traditional decision-making models and governance models. And it was really the old women around the fire who were our wise counsels. And for that to happen, they would have to be protected by another circle of men, really, whose job was to protect the women. But we didn't have swords, eh? We didn't have any swords. We didn't have really, like, we collected metals for, you know, coppers and things, but most of us didn't. So my idea was actually that we would use blade feathers, big blade eagle feathers, and our traditional medicines and ways and spiritual practices would give us, would be stronger, because that's where our real power comes from, is the traditions and the spirits of our ancestors, and connected to everything, like even the mountains and the river and everything, and, you know, the giant trees. So I went to, you know, things that are more familiar to us, because we didn't have swords. Thank you.
Thank you. Salamat po. Hi, Jeff. Did you happen to do this exercise too?
Yes, I was a little bit more present to do this exercise. So it was a shorter amount of time. So this is what I was able to come up with. So I rushed to find some colors. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of blades in particular, so I just drew one that kind of looked like a blade. And I don't know if this is reverse image, but it says around it, it has the words simplicity, tenderness, and vulnerability. And then underneath are names of people that I tried to enshrine that are a part of my family, my close family, my familiar relations. And yeah, hope you like it.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. I'm so glad you were able to join us on this, and we get to see what is so valuable and important in your life. So everyone, didn't want to do that. Everyone, just to close that segment off, I want everyone to, well, Norm, you have your feather you can hold, but everyone make a fist in their hand like they're holding your sword, whatever you drew. And you're holding it in your hand, okay? Comfortably, don't squeeze it too tight. Have a nice, just firm grip. And we're gonna do the some sword motions just because this is what we can do. First one we're gonna do is 8, like a infinity. An 8. There we go. That's the flow, that's an 8. Also called ocho in many of our systems, or the X, or the 1 and 2, but fluid. You can do it small, really small, and you can do it large, largo, right? And you can also do it broken, which means like shorter movements. Okay, but I like the fluid. Fluid is good, feels really good. And you can also do it in a reverse. Yeah, reverse means you're starting upward like this rather than down. So that's upper 8 like this, just like that. And so you did the first one was downward, right? Those are primarily the stronger strikes that you're going to do, and just in a variety of like making it bigger or larger or tighter depending on your range. So I wanted you to just kind of think about your blade that you have. Just imagine now you have it, you're swinging it and you're fluid with it, and it's a part of you. Yeah, and then you can try it other way. And then, so just feel that and feel what you drew. And then I'm gonna put my hand on my heart, and I'm gonna hold my blade in my hand, and I bow to you all. Thank you for doing, Thank you for doing that exercise with me. Thank you. Now I'm gonna pass this to Norm with our closing meditation.
So I'll share a bit that I use these meditations as a tool to help people decolonize, especially people who have no idea how colonized they are. And the only way is to try and get them out of their head, out of the thinking, thoughts, thinking about it, words and thoughts, and get them into their body. So I took you to the tree, and I tried to help you be the tree. And for some people, and especially for men, it's hard for us to get out of our heads. And so we think about a tree instead of being a tree. So I'm going to have you think. So settle in, be comfortable, be safe. Notice your body and your feet. Notice your hands. Notice your breath. And so breathe some relief and some air into maybe any tired or sore parts of your body. Notice where they are. Breathe into those. And think of a place of water that you know. A place of good water. Let your body be there with that good water. Notice how your body is there when it's near that good water. Notice the season, the time of day, sounds, smells. Notice if there's any creatures, maybe even people sharing this with you. Birds, animals. Notice any vegetation, plants, trees. Think how long this water has been here. Look at all the things that this water is connected to. Really, all water on the planet is connected. Now let your body remember that it too is water. And that the water of your body is related to this other water. And your water and this water have known each other for a long time. And this land. If you can feel this land under your body holding you up. Know that this land provides you and your ancestors with everything. And if it's safe to touch the water, let your hand or your foot touch the water. Feel how that is. And let the land support and hold you in its embrace. Know that the water is there to hold you as well. Feel the love of the land and the water for you, your family, your ancestors. You are its grandchild. It loves you like a grandmother. It holds you, embraces you. Allow that love to infuse your body. Know that it's always been there, since before the beginning, every second of every day. So let that infuse your body and take in that medicine of the land. Now ask in if there's a special medicine that the land wants to give you that you can bring back today, that will help you today through these difficult times. Might be a plant, an animal, an element. Just let it come. Notice if there's any ancestors that have any messages for you. Receive them in a good way. Be grateful for all that is. Prepare to come back to your body in the room. Set everything back where it belongs in a good way. It'll be there when you come back. Come back to your body. Notice your feet. Notice your hands. Notice your breath. Your face. And your eyes. And look at the little screen in front of your face. You see the other people in the circle. And bring back that loved feeling. So I use these to help people who've lost that connection to find it again. Because colonized people forgot. You need to remember And if they can, and I hope they can, then maybe humans might survive. Thanks for your time.
Maraming salamat, Norm, for this blessed medicine and time you've shared in helping us heal, and helping us thrive day by day to have, these understandings of deepening our ways of connecting, our sense of self with the love of our land, the land of the tree, the water, and our Kapwa with our grandmother, as you say. So grateful for these medicines that you share and your presence and the ancestry, your ancestors that you carry with you that have brought you to be with us today. It means the world to us that you share this time. And Lapu Lapu, and that we've deepened our relationship with you and the lands here. So thank you so much. Maraming salamat po. I'm grateful for everyone for being here. I think, this is really important that we just continue to keep, lifting one another and reminding one another how to be strong. That we continue these kind of traditions, even if it's small, it just matters that we continue. And that was one of also the messages of Kenneth and the teachers and the Ilustrisimo, that you do have the things to continue, the tools to continue, and just keep the flow, the movement of knowing these traditions are within us. We don't stop, right? This pandemic doesn't stop us. And if anything, it brings us new journeys, new understandings of ourselves, and to new places. So thank you for planting seeds this day to move forward. Thank you, Kapatids, Kathara Society, Jeff, for visiting us, and Norm. And would you like to share anything, my Kapatids, in closing of Kathara?
I wanted to thank you, Babette, for hosting and curating and inviting the special guests that we've had, and hope people will watch the hour-and-a-half interview that you had with the practitioners. I had to still do some editing, but I just wanted to note that in the video it mentioned Ilustrisimo masters, and just to correct that it's actually that they're practitioners, and they wanted that to be corrected, so that's something that will be corrected later. But just if you see this in the video, to acknowledge that. And thank you to JR for the Tagalog playing and sharing some of the Kudlapi lessons you're learning right now. Excited to see that continue. And thank you again, Norm, for connecting us from the St'at'imc territory, which is definitely a place that is a beautiful place for us to connect with, not far from this area here. And your meditations that really helped us connect with this place and the gifts that it has here for us. And something that we're looking towards is, also looking at how we can support Indigenous food sovereignty here, how we can connect with the canoe culture here. These are all things that connect us with trees as well, and with the planting traditions as well, which are the intact Indigenous traditions that we can still connect with, and with our gardens, and at this time of year when we are beginning that work with the land, with an important consideration of consent and asking the land for it to share its things with us, not just demanding it. So the Halaran offering that we shared in the video earlier, that's something that may we continue to hold that that prayer from that ceremony. And I'm grateful that my family were here earlier from the Philippines and Cebu, and my sister. And to note that Una and Hugo with the Kapwa Kids, with Jade, with other families, there's been a part of what we were doing here today that is in connection with this ongoing spirit of legacy of Lapu Lapu that we're holding here on the unceded Coast Salish territories, as we continue to try to make this training happen. So any ways of support for this, any participants who want to join. And thank you lastly also to Jeff, who's part of the Trabajo Panalaki group, which represents Filipino men who are working to decolonize their masculinity and consider ways of accountability in support of female, and non-binary leadership in our Philippine community. So I offer that, as I know right after this is going to be a Filipinx Femme circle in this community, and want to take this warrior energy that we were discussing yesterday in our group to support the work that you're doing, and recognizing the warriorship, the leadership, the knowledge carrying, the medicine keeping that all of you are bringing to us as life givers as well. So thank you. And Daghan Salamat. Thank you very much.
Salamat. I didn't have anything else. Do you want me to, maybe I'll play a little bit of the gong to conclude and close with the ancestors too. Okay. Okay. Have a good night now. Magandang gabi na. Kain na. You eat now.